What's going on? And what you're looking at right now is Etsy.com. Guys, this is an excellent way to make some extra money. My wife has been with Etsy for about 2-3 years now, maybe a little longer than that. But it's an excellent way to make extra money when you don't feel like going to a second job, or whatever it may be. So today, let's just look over a couple things of why Etsy is great. And I'm going to get right into it. The first thing I'm going to show you right now is, notice I'm going to this search bar. This search bar right here is a great way to find things throughout Etsy. Now we're going to go to shops, and I'm going to tell you why Etsy is a great thing. Right now I'm going to type in the name of a store here that's doing quite well. We're on here on Etsy. All right, let this come up 1 second. And this store's name is called Tribal Style. Okay, now right away, what this is Tribal Style is a store that basically sells handmade earrings. And on one of my previous videos, you can find out why Etsy, what Etsy is all about. You know, this video is basically talking all about a more close-up view of what sellers are doing on Etsy. So Tribal Style is basically a website where, you know, like I said, they're handmade earrings. What she does is she gets earrings and she cuts them, and then she adds the metal piece. So that's what consider it to be handmade. But here's what I want you to look at. Look here on this left screen right here, on this side over here. So you have the name of the store. She has a profile picture, a few other categories, but I want you to pay attention to this number right here. 21,848 sales. Now, if you look at this, look at her prices. $15, $18, $25, $18. So you do the math. Let's just put maybe an average number of $20. So you go $20 times 21,848 sales. You can tell automatically what kind of money this person's made, and only opened the store February 1st, 2010. So I'm going to ask you, did you make that kind of money at your job this year? And this is all made from her home. Now, if you're making this kind of money, you probably don't need to work a job. What you probably need to be doing is open Etsy stores. So that's just one example. So let me just type into the sales here. All right. Now I'm on a sales page. I clicked on that sales icon. Now here you could see this little icon here. You see 4 squares and you see 3 squares going straight down from each other. I'm going to click on that one. I like that view a little better. Now, what I'm looking at now is the items that she sold. Okay, so we see on January 29th she sold an item. Actually, on January 29th she sold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on and on and on. You know, and there's reasons why she did that, and I'm going to go into that a little further. You know, but I just want to show you, this is one store that is doing pretty good on Etsy, and you can do it too. Now let's look at another store. This is just, I don't want to get the hype just on one store. Let's look at another store and see what they have here. This is another store I've been following. Dark Cycle. I think it's written like that. Okay, Dark Cycle Clothing. Now this here is a t-shirt company. Okay, t-shirt company, and what you see is basically, it's pretty simple. It's t-shirts with animals. Now animals is one of those things that a lot of people love. So here you have a tiger riding on a bicycle, a fox riding on a bicycle. This is a crab riding on a bicycle. Got my screen here going a little nuts. Basically, his whole theme is animals riding on bicycles. Here we go over to the left again on the shop info. What do you have? 22,078 sales. There we go again. Now, let me go a little bit into why I think these people are making this kind of money. Well, the first thing I want to say is this. It's the product. The product is unique. There's an audience for it, as we could tell with the 20,000 or more sales. But it also goes into consistency and hard work. Now, pay attention to this real quick. With this page, look at this shirt. Okay, he has a description. He has 1,713 views. But look at here, 2 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, 18 minutes ago, 27 minutes ago. What that basically is saying is that this guy is constantly listing items. Now, this store right here, the store owner, I actually talked to him on through email, and we talked about something that I will have on my one of my next videos that actually lets him automate this system where he can actually list products all throughout the day. So basically, he's not glued to his computer. What he actually is doing is, all he's doing is concentrating on creating new product and constantly getting that product out there. And then once he posts the picture of that product, he sets it up on this automatic app and it posts for him. And all he has to do, if he hasn't outsourced this himself yet, is ship out the product and collect the money. How nice is that? You know? So basically it's just the consistency of listing, and 2, having a great product. Now let me tell you why you need to consistently list something on Etsy. Let's go to all items. All right? Now, it's just like Google. When you're on Google, you probably only want to you're probably only going to search on the first page when it comes to Google. Meaning, you're not going to search on the second and third one. So those guys who on the second and third page probably won't get a lot of things bought from them. So this guy has a t-shirt company. So let's go here. And remember, I put in all items. This is how you search for products on Etsy. Okay? So now we just typed in t-shirts. So let's see what comes up here. Let's see, can we find Dark Cycle? All right. T-shirts. Is he on the first page? Well, I can see right now the guy has a lot of competition. There's a lot of people out there who are doing t-shirts. Scrolling down. I don't see him yet. Five days ago. Still looking. See that I overlook him here. Well, I didn't find him on the first page. You know, but see, let me tell you why I'm looking at this. Okay? Now, basically, what I did was, when you go to all items, all of these companies here are different companies. And the way Etsy works is, so I'm looking on, like this guy, he posted a t-shirt up 4 days ago. Then another one 6 days ago. Then another one on the 20th. It's all about, like, if I'm on here right now and someone posts from another company in the t-shirt section, another shirt, their name is going to go right above the 4 days. Okay? So the way Etsy works is you have to constantly keep posting in order not to fall down where no one can find you in no man's land. That's how Etsy works. So the more you post, the more you can be seen. That's why you see a lot of those guys who are making those kind of sales with great products is because they're getting a lot of exposure. Now, with Etsy, they charge you not 20%, not 20 cents per picture, but 20 cents per post. So every time you post, you would get docked 20 cents. But here's the thing. Now, some of you may be asking, oh my gosh, that's expensive or whatever. Okay, if you have a great product and you believe in it, you're going to have to invest a little money in order to make some money. So it's not a bad investment in order to do something like that, to get exposure, because once they catch on to you and people find out and you build customers, you're going to make money. So we kind of understand that in a nutshell. Now, let's go over how to create an Etsy account. So basically, you go over here to the register button, and you type your name in. Let me do a little type here real quick. Mail. Setting up a little dummy account here just to let you know of actually how to just set up your account. Very simple. Just fill out the form. After you fill out the form, or that's already taken, I'll just go ahead and put another word here. Well, basically, after you fill up the form, you are going to get an email. So let's see here. So we click register. Very simple. So it says I need to go, hi Abdul, you still need to confirm your account. So let's see. Sometimes it takes a little bit to go over there. So while that's happening, let me go over a couple more buttons here. So in this drop down menu, you have vintage, supplies, people, how you can find different companies, shops, your favorites. You can actually favorite. If you see a shop that you like, you can go and favorite the deals. Or not necessarily shops, but you can favorite your items, you know. And basically, to tell you a little bit about Etsy, it was started by a guy who thought there wasn't a platform to actually sell handmade products, okay? So what he did was, he basically created a website where he didn't want commercial products. He wanted to pride himself into finding unique items. And you have people like that. Some people don't like the whole cookie cutter type lifestyle where everyone looks alike and dresses alike and blah, blah, blah. So he wanted to create something where more things are handmade. So keep this in mind, that when you're trying to sell on Etsy, you just can't sell anything as if it was eBay. Now, eBay, you can sell commercial products, blah, blah, blah. Now, with Etsy, it's just a little bit different, you know? So they, like for instance, the T-shirts, you know, you can buy the T-shirts commercially made, but when it comes up to designs and things of that nature, you can actually make your own designs. And T-shirts is a very good product. It may be a little saturated, but hey, I mean, if you have a great design, it could work for you. So that's an example. So let's see, has our email came in yet? So I want to refresh this here. Okay, confirm your Etsy account. We're there, and so we're gonna go ahead and click the button. Thanks, welcome to, thanks for confirming your Etsy account. Now we're officially Etsy members. Now the next thing you want to do after that, if you have an account, is to go to the sell option, because you want to sell some things. So basically, here in this sales page, Etsy kind of tells you what you can sell, what you can't. So they go over the rules and regulations. So you want to take some time out to read this, because when you're starting any business, you want to make sure that you're following the rules. Like for instance, just to be real quick, when it goes to vintage, which is a product that my wife sells, it has to fall in the category of 20 years or older, or is not considered vintage. So anything that you've bought 5 years ago cannot necessarily be considered vintage. They said that you can sell supplies. Well, here's the thing. Supplies that can actually make handmade things. Like you can sell yarn, thread, those type of things in order for other people to make stuff. And the other category is handmade by you. Yes, you. Now, there are ways to get around that sometimes too. And you got to be careful because we actually had a store shut down because we necessarily didn't find that, because I guess we didn't really understand the rules. We actually bought handmade products from another country, and they didn't like that so much because basically we were wholesaling these things, and long story short, basically they said, well, look, it's not necessarily handmade by you, and we don't know if you have, how much percentage of time do you have in actually making each product. So long story short, they let us go with that situation. But since then, we've opened other stores, you know. So you be the judge on that. There could be a person in your town that loves to hand make stuff, but just doesn't have a platform. You can partner with that person, come up with your own styles, pay that person some money, and you're in business. But you have to research on Etsy by going up to the all items on the drop down menu right there and see what's selling. Type in t-shirts, type in shoes, type in things that you can think of just to try to get some ideas of what you think will work and what will not work. So basically, once you do that, you go to sell on Etsy over here. And this is where you have to put some more personal information. Now, this is where you're going to put your information about your address, your street. I really don't, not going to go into that because I don't want to create another account. But basically, you got to do that. Then they're going to ask you about your PayPal. If you got a PayPal, you want to set up that. They're going to also ask you for your credit card. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people ask me, well, why are they going to ask you for your credit card? Okay, this is why. If you ever have a problem with your PayPal, they just want a secondary source in order to get their payment. So they're going to ask you for both the credit card and the PayPal account. So don't feel that it's unsafe or something like that. Etsy is a great website. I haven't heard of anybody getting fraud or anything. So, but if you don't want to put your main credit card or debit card or whatever you have, maybe you want to use an account that has a smaller amount in it. You know, just in case, you know, just to protect yourself. So that's how to become an Etsy seller. Pretty self-explanatory. Let me get out of here and go to the site again. So I just showed you guys two sites that I think are pretty good examples of websites when it comes to what to model your store after. Because, you guys know I have a YouTube channel. And one thing that I see a lot of people make mistakes with is this. When they try to open a business or do anything, they try to do it their way. Right? And that's fine. But here's the thing. Just remember, when you try to do it your way with no type of guidance or example to follow, it's going to take you much more time. And two, you probably have a lot of failure. And now, failure isn't necessarily a bad thing, but here you can instantly learn some key things by following big stores. And one of the main things, guys, is to post on a in a frequent manner, So, I mean, just look at this site. This site is very, very artistic. I mean, you have things like, look at the plate. That's like a vintage plate. The sweater, hats, artistic. This looks like a painting, Basically, they just pride themselves on unique things. So, when thinking of this product, think unique. Think of something that's not commercial or what you see other people wearing. Think something on those lines. So, like I said, this video is not to take too much of your time because pretty much it's self-explanatory. the main things that I went over is consistency in posting, which I have another site on here, not another site, but another video on here that tells you how to automate your Etsy system. So, thank you guys for watching this Etsy tutorial. I wish you success. It's a great way to make money outside of your job, you know. And let's finish strong, guys, when it comes to finance. You know, don't make it harder than it necessarily needs to be. And the internet is a great platform to sell. So with that said, guys, thank you guys for watching this tutorial. It really means a lot, you know, and I hope it helps. So with that said, guys, I'm sorry for stuttering here, but you guys know where I'm getting at. I hope it helps. So take care.